Viewer discretion is advised. All right, because I'm going ham. Okay. But I got to cover the North Carolina shooting. I got to cover that. I'm seeing people getting really quiet about this shooting where these officers were gunned down in broad daylight. What's up, people? We can't talk about this? Now, I'm on Twitter, which is by far the most, well, can't say the most. But you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, you got TikTok, you got Twitter. I'll leave anybody out. The big ones, the big apps, right? Reddit. Yeah, Reddit's kind of smaller. Pinterest. Nah, man, we're talking about photos. Nah, not photos. So, of the top 5, X is by far 3 football fields more racist than all the other apps. That's on purpose, by the way, guys. So they had no problem talking about the North Carolina shooting. In fact, you couldn't get away from it. Racist comment after racist comment. Black man kills 4 cops, injures 8. 4 of them succumb to their injuries. He killed 4 law enforcement. 3 U.S. Marshals, 1 deputy, sheriff, I think. Right? His name is Hughes, right? Terry Clark Hughes Jr. They say he was a career criminal, this guy. It's this is crazy. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to say, look, my condolences to the family of the officers. My condolences to the loved ones. There were fathers. Some of these officers were fathers and husbands who left behind families, children that are going to be missing a place at the dinner table. And that's a horrific thing. So we should have some decency, right? And I don't want to hear that, oh, Tim, come on, Tim Black, cops kill people all the time. Not every cop kills people all the time. You know what I'm saying? Not every cop. So you don't know if these cops are the particular cops that are going around doing these particular things. So we're gonna be decent. Okay, we're gonna be decent and say that. We're gonna open it up by saying my condolences to the families. If you got a problem with that, this ain't the show for you. Because we don't do hate shit. We don't do hate shit. But we also don't kiss no ass. So hang in there and I'm gonna explain to you. Now, for anybody who's been unawares, man, this brother opened up fire on these officers. He had a warrant. They were looking for him. They had a warrant. They knew he had guns, at least a gun. They knew he had a gun because one of the charges that he had a warrant for was having a gun. So they knew the guy had a gun. They go in daytime, broad daylight, to serve a warrant on this guy who was basically trying to get off the grid, trying to hide from him. He's been on the run for a while after missing his court date. Here's the thing about this that puzzles me. Why are you going to get this guy in the daytime? If you know he got firepower. Now, I know they can do that. I'm just saying, like, why'd that happen? I mean, they went to Breonna Taylor's house in the middle of the night. And all she had was, shit, they were just looking for drugs or something. I don't know what they were looking for, but they didn't think they thought she lived alone and that there were no weapons in the house. And they still went in the middle of the night. You went to this guy, Terry Clark Hughes Jr. I'm just going to call him Hughes. Terry Hughes. They went to Terry Hughes' house during the middle of the day. They knew he had guns because the warrant that they're looking for him for is gun related. October 21st, after getting a call, officers reported they found Hughes asleep at the wheel of a car in the middle of the road with his hand on a gun sitting in his lap. So they called for backup. They gave him verbal commands. They were able to verbally talk him out of the car, putting the guns down. They recovered a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, 24 rounds of ammunition, a magazine, and marijuana. They possessed him. They charged him with possession of a firearm. by a felon. He was a felon because he committed a robbery back in 2009. But after that, he posted a $30,000 bond and vanished. See, a lot of the channels that are covering this aren't covering this. They just aren't. They're not, at least not covering it well. I just gave more information than this. And believe me, I went through several articles. I listened to several newscasts. To get all of that I just gave you took me about 4 hours. Not constant time, but I'm saying like, read this article, read that article, watch that clip, read this article, watch that clip, looking for more information. Tell me something about this guy. Tell me more about Terry. I want to know why this guy did this. I want more information. All I keep hearing was he's a career criminal. A career criminal convicted of burglary? In 2010? He had a lengthy rap sheet of, mainly BS. The only real crime he got was the burglary charge. Like the only substantial crime that I found was the burglary charge back in 2009, for which he did his time. My understanding, he worked as a technician, electrician for 15 years. He didn't do that 15 years of work in jail. He did it out. So I'm not as sure exactly what kind of investigative reporting the investigative reporters are actually doing, because they're doing some garbage work. But anyway, back to the story. So remember, this brother, Terry Hughes Jr., he shot 8 cops. He killed 4 cops. This is a bad dude. This is really a bad dude. Not the bad dude that Joe Biden said Corn Pop was. This is really a bad dude. Ain't no bicycle chains. This guy got guns. And the cops know he have guns. Right? The cops knew he had guns because that's why they're looking for him. Because of the incident where he had a gun with extra clips in the magazine, 24 rounds, sitting on his lap, sleep in the car in the middle of the street. You'll go to this brother's house. I'm gonna go to this brother's house to surprise him with shit unless it was dark and we did it covertly. But okay. Okay. So tactically, this was a shit show. Tactically, this was horrible. What happened here? This could have been avoided big time. It could have been avoided if he just wouldn't have shot at the cops, right? But it could have also been avoided if the cops had better command. Who did this? Who commanded this operation? I'm also questioning how Terry knew they were coming, because Terry Hughes Jr. shot at the cops on their way up the driveway. He started busting before they got to the door. He was in his top window. It's a 2-story house. He was in the top window, gunning down on them as they came to the house, approaching. So he had them outpositioned. He had them at a total disadvantage to begin with. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They were in a standoff for about 4 hours. He was in a superior position the whole time. They end up running one of those military type vehicles into the house in order to get a closer shot at him or whatever. So Terry Hughes was not the only person home. He was there with a child, well, a young woman who was 17 years old, and an older woman. That I don't know if they're renting it, if they're what relation they are, but they were cooperating with police. They are not considered suspects. And as far as the cops know, there was only one shooter. And that one shooter was Terry Hughes. Now, I'm not giving you all that information to mess with your head to make you think that I'm suggesting, right, that this was a good guy or that Terry Hughes was right in any way. Now, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is tactically there are a lot of mistakes made. What I'm saying is They're not giving you this information because, one, it makes cops look pretty bad. I believe. I believe they're not telling you really what happened because how horrible it makes the police officers look. Look like they really took this guy and just discounted him and said, what the hell? Now I realized that this took place in North Carolina, and I realized that Breonna Taylor, that took place in Kentucky. But what I'm saying is, big difference in how they were treated. I mean, they came with 15 officers for Breonna Taylor, it seemed, in the middle of the night. And for this guy, was it 4 officers originally in broad daylight? So clumsy that they get spotted coming up to his door? I'm trying to understand how this makes sense. But okay, let's move on. Let's move to the real good part. I'm wondering, folks. Yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to help me out in the comment section. Help me out with this. I wonder what happened to Terry. What happened to Mr. Terry Clark Hughes Jr.? When I say what happened to him, I mean, I know he got shot dead. We know he got blown away by the cops eventually, but what I'm saying is, I mean, what happened to him? What made him do this? Did he lose his job? Maybe he was depressed. Was he depressed or did he lose his job or something? Did he just, break up with his wife or his wife leave him and take the kids? He had a mental break. Yeah, mental break. Off his medication. Taking some of those SSRDIs or whatever, SS something. What's the name of those pills? Those pills that alter your brain chemistry that like 40% of Americans are on. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what caused him to do this. Was he haunted by ghosts? Maybe he was believing some QAnon theories or something. That happens, People stop thinking these QAnon stuff, think it's the end of the world. They got to defend something or fight back against the zombie people, the was it? The Alex Jones called them the frog people or whatever it is. The lizard people. Yeah, maybe he thought these were the lizard people. Maybe he was touched as a child. Was he a loner? Was he picked on in school? I mean, I'm just rattling off to you all of the things I hear when the shooter's a white guy. Yeah, when the shooter's a white guy, we get to hear all these stories. We get to get all these different scenarios, all these different narratives of what happened to cause this white guy to do this. Maybe it's possible. Maybe he, I don't know, maybe he was beat as a child. His father put cigarettes out on him and mistreated him. He's been bullied his entire life. Where's his manifesto? I'm just pointing out that that's what happens when it's a white guy. I want to check some of you black folks out there. Hope this is ringing in your ears. Because I hear a lot of this type of hypothesis going on about Terry Clark Hughes. Yeah, people weren't saying this. They were just saying, he's black. Black men are violent by nature. So the rule is this. Black people don't get backstories. We don't get narratives. No one asks questions when it's a black guy who ends up shooting up a bunch of people. This guy, but he's black. That was it. That's why he did it. On to the next one. No one asks. No one needs to know anything. He was black, therefore, this is what you get. Go on X, this great platform, and see what their reasons were. He's black. Black people kill everybody. Black people are dangerous. You can't count on them. Black men are dangerous and violent by nature. Black women are promiscuous and sexualized by nature. Boom, bing, bop, boom. End of story. Moving on. Right? Isn't that what it is? They don't do this to black shooters. They don't give black shooters backstories, narratives, where they're the underdog when something happened to them, they were a victim of society, or even loners. Loners that always had an issue, something was wrong. He was, They're always victims. Black people are just victim creators, not victims themselves. Yeah, when a white man shoots up this many people, shoots this many cops, people are baffled. Well, why did he do that? Why did he do that? There had to be a reason what they do to him. When he's black, they're like, why did he do that? You know why they do that. You know why you do that. You know exactly why you do that. Why they do that. I just want that to sit there for a minute, man. I want that to sit there for a minute and kind of just hang in the air a little bit. You know? Because that's the society that we have. That's what we have. We can't even look at our criminals the same way. Racism is so bad in America, we got different tiers for criminals. We look at criminals different. Even a white killer is considered more human than a black criminal. Hell, I mean, nothing from nothing. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, dog. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is gonna probably make some of you black guys with some of you green black guys, black women, and men who are eternally optimistic. Gonna probably make you kind of depressed and also reflexively want to reject what I'm about to say, but even a white killer is more human than a innocent black man. Yeah. I mean, Daniel Penny comes to mind. Daniel Penny's the Marine who killed an unarmed homeless person with mental issues on a train because he got loud. And more people more concerned if Daniel Penny's gonna be okay. Because he choked the life out of a homeless man who was getting loud, and people were worried that he might actually be as violent as the white guy. But he never actually put hands on anyone. And you should see the comment sections on my Facebook when I said the white guy who's the Marine who put the illegal chokehold, he shouldn't have put any chokehold because he's a civilian. He's not in the Marines on a run. He's a civilian on a fucking New York train. Could have kept his hands to his damn self. You gotta wait till a guy does something if you're gonna make a citizen's arrest. You can't pretend to be minority report and make a preemptive assault, citizen's arrest, and then not let go of the guy until he's dead. He never regained consciousness. But people humanize Daniel Penny. Hell, Jordan Neely, that's his name. About to say, I can't even remember the dead black guy's name. But I just did, Jordan Neely. So yeah, I guess I can make that statement because I've been doing this long enough that I've been covering enough stories. I got enough planks of wood on the fire to be able to say to you, without any hesitation, that a white killer gets treated with more respect than a dead, innocent black man. But back to our story. What really did happen here? You know, another thing that's also depressing about this story, other than we got 8 people that were shot, 4 that are deceased. My condolences to their families once again. Is that there are people that you can find on the internet right now going, there's got to be more to this story. That's how much they don't trust their news. That's how much they don't trust their media. Don't trust it. They believe that there is something they're not telling us. I mean, at first they wouldn't release a picture of Terry Hughes because I guess they were white people crazy. For all the talk about how dangerous the brothers are, we ain't never flooded a town. we never blew up white businesses or flooded towns or blew up white churches. But that's just a little bit about history. So They got to be careful when they release the pictures of the blacks when they commit crimes because there's always a old Ford truck or old Chevy truck, good old boys that'll jump in it and just pick up random black people for a little fun. Well, I hate to bring it down, but I got to point this out because I got a feeling no matter where you go on the internet, whatever channel you frequent that you give all your viewership to, should be over here with this, with the Tim Black Show. They ain't going to give you this type of commentary on this particular issue. I don't think they will, Johnson. Yeah, I'm not saying that these officers deserve to be killed. Nobody deserves to be killed in doing your damn job. Unless you're trying to kill others while you're doing your job or something. Like, I want to leave the room there because everybody's want to fight. Everyone wants to fight for their lives, and everyone has a right to fight for their own survival. So I'm going to leave that caveat in there. But no, I'm not justifying at all what happened. What I'm saying is, why we got such a discrepancy in how these types of events are reported? Why don't we ask the same questions regardless of the color of the killer? We will find out little to nothing about this killer. There's very much to find out. And the same old true for all those white guys that do all that killing too. But they create backstories to make it palatable because the psyche of Americans is so contaminated with the idea of white supremacy and all this shit. They can't just give you the stories of a bad white guy. That ain't enough because the cognitive dissonance won't let them process that in their minds. The white guy could just be a bad white guy as easily as Terry Hughes could just be a bad black man. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Man, I love my job, man. I love my job. I love it when I can do a story and just feel like I get an opportunity to make a real statement that matters. I think that was an important statement to make. You just witnessed it right here on the Tim Black Show. And if you, for some reason, if you find this content useful, you find it relevant or important, you'd like to contribute to it, go to jointimblack.com, become a member on my Patreon. Join us. Do it today. You can even join right here on YouTube. Starting at only $5 a month. That's the lowest bracket. Don't be a person giving me $1 a month. Don't do that. If you can only give my show $1 a month, you need to keep that dollar. We don't want to, and I've had great people, some of my older senior citizens being like, yo, Tim, I just want to help out. He goes, no. I even sent money back to a sister. Nah, man, if it's that tight, your viewership is all I want. You know what I'm saying? This is not that type of party. And I'm being dead honest with you. Those that can support this show, those that can help this show, because they value it. Not a handout, because they value it. And they realize, and a bunch of sponsors lining up to hear Tim Black tell us the difference between black killers and white killers and how our media treats them, how the public treats them. Ain't no sponsors lining up for that shit. Now, if I'd have just sat here and did 20-minute rants about how horrible black people are and how we're killers and how we need to fix up our own communities, if I did the Candace Owens / Hodge twins / sheriff, whatever his name is, cop, Lieutenant Jackass, whatever his name is, if I did one of those rants by one of our, friendly sellouts, they would be lining up down the block, man, to support this show. And they have a Patreon a mile long because that's what they do. People, conservatives support that shit. They support the hell out of it. I'm asking you to step up in the gap for those that can. All right.